Lots of stuff came out yesterday regarding exclusivity, Call of Duty, PlayStation speaking, and Phil Spencer putting out a tweet that has made the internet just continue to speculate. Welcome back to another video, guys. If you enjoy daily content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. So it's been nonstop news regarding this deal with Activision Blizzard and Xbox. Obviously, the main thing people always will want to know about is what's going to happen to the IPs that Xbox is going to acquire. Now, we are still so far away from this deal being finalized and being able to get real information on what is going to happen. But we saw a few things come out yesterday, and I want to talk about it because it's pretty interesting. Firstly, Sony came out and made a statement, and they made a statement to the Wall Street Journal saying, "We expect that Microsoft will abide by contractual agreements to continue to ensure Activision games are multi-platform." So this is interesting because they decided to just come out by themselves and make a statement regarding the Activision games. I'm assuming they're specifically referring here to Call of Duty, because if you remember back in 2015, PlayStation came out and actually declared that PlayStation was the new home for Call of Duty, which obviously that's not the case anymore. But they're also saying this to the Wall Street Journal, and as we know, the Sony stock had a huge drop after the Activision Blizzard announcement deal with Xbox came out, so they're probably trying to just calm down the market, calm down their investors, because people are definitely asking questions. What's going on? They see the amount of money that PlayStation makes off of Call of Duty, and I'm sure there's a lot of worry right now as to how this is going to affect the company. So they decided to come out and say that they expect Microsoft to abide by the contractual agreements. Now, we don't know how long any of these contractual agreements are. With Call of Duty, every single year, there is that advantage that I guess you get some exclusive content, or you get content in advance on the PlayStation platform before the Xbox platform. And who knows how many years they signed that deal for. So when they mention contractual agreements, I'm assuming they're just referring to the current stuff right now that they have signed, and that they're hoping Microsoft is going to honor all of that. Now, that came out first, and then later on in the day, Phil Spencer actually put out a tweet kind of clarifying and setting the internet on fire, saying, "Had good calls this week with leaders at Sony. I confirmed our intent to honor all existing agreements upon acquisition of Activision Blizzard and our desire to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. Sony is an important part of our industry and we value our relationship." Now, there's a few things. The first thing that people jump to after reading this tweet is that Call of Duty staying on PlayStation forever. Like, that's what you go through the comments and you see a lot of people just saying that. You really got to look at the wordsmithing he's done with this tweet if you are trying to determine what this really means. First of all, the main thing he says here is existing agreements. That's the huge part of that tweet that you have to focus on, because he's pretty much literally just saying what he has said and what Xbox has done with the Bethesda deal, where they have honored all the existing agreements. I mean, look at Deathloop, look at Ghostwire Tokyo coming out, both coming to PlayStation first because those were in place before. Look at Psychonauts 2, that game coming out on PS4 as well. Those were existing agreements, they honored them, and they're going to do the exact same thing with the Activision Blizzard games. I don't see why they would not do that or change their attitude around that. It just doesn't really make any sense. And then secondly, where I guess you could say the wordsmithing comes in, that definitely has a lot of people debating, is where he says, "and our desire to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation." Now, the reason I say it has a lot of people debating is because you can really interpret this in a lot of different ways. You can look at the history of what Xbox did with their previous deals, and it would indicate that's wherever Xbox Game Pass is going to be, meaning, did they talk to Sony? Did they come to some sort of agreement? Is Xbox Game Pass going to make its way onto PlayStation in some shape or form? Maybe that's through browser integration. If they add a browser onto PlayStation, maybe that's through the app. Who knows? I mean, maybe they talked about that. Does that mean that even after the existing agreements, Xbox is going to continue to work with PlayStation to make sure that Call of Duty stays on that platform? And I'd say if they come to that decision, it's most likely because they have tallied all of the numbers and it doesn't make business sense to pull it off of PlayStation. It's like a Minecraft type of thing where even if they get more subscribers to Game Pass and more people buying Xbox consoles because Call of Duty is exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem, it's just such a massive game that they would still not come out on top if they took it off of even just one other platform? Or does this just mean, I think the most obvious one of them all would be Call of Duty Warzone, and the Battle Royale updates and all that type of stuff is going to be staying on PlayStation. And then on top of that, one of the main things people have to differentiate, in my opinion, is that Xbox is just a huge company. They're focusing on the software. Their main enemy within video games isn't Sony. I know it's hard to think about because they've been going at it for so many years, when the video game industry was focused on how many consoles they could push into people's homes. But it's just not the way that it is anymore. And Xbox has kind of expanded. They had more forward thinking. They're in like a different realm, in my opinion, when it comes to their strategy compared to what PlayStation is, at least right now. And I think that other companies, Amazon, Google, Tencent, Apple even, are who Xbox are looking at more. And a deal like this is for positioning in the future, so that if these major companies with as much cash flow, maybe more cash flow than they have, can go out and start buying up these companies just in straight cash, acquire all of the IPs, get all that content they can instantly throw into a subscription-based model, they will be well positioned so that they don't fall behind those other companies. Yes, they obviously think about Sony all the time as well, but I don't think it's to the degree where Sony is their main competitor. And Phil Spencer kind of touches on this in an interview with the Washington Post. So there are a few things here that I want to talk about because it's pretty exciting. First of all, as we know, with Activision and Blizzard, they really put all their resources into Call of Duty. I mean, Call of Duty is the biggest game, then you have World of Warcraft on the other side. But Activision specifically, it seems like instead of branching off and trying to make more IPs, maybe bring back dormant IPs, every single year they focus on trying to make Call of Duty bigger and bigger and better than it was the previous year. Now, one of the big things people want to know is, what is Xbox going to do once they officially acquire Activision Blizzard? Are they going to continue just along the same lines, or are they going to want to bring back some older IPs? Well, Phil Spencer talked about this in this interview with the Washington Post, and it looks like we have some good news, at least for now. So he was asked about all the IPs and all that type of stuff, and Phil Spencer goes on and says, I was looking at the IP list. I mean, Let's Go, King's Quest, Guitar Hero. I should know this, but I think they got Hexen. Hexen is like a first-person shooter with magic and stuff like that. And then there's also Crash Bandicoot, there's Spyro, there's Tony Hawk. There's so many really iconic, beloved franchises within Activision that a lot of people want to see Xbox bring back and make new games for the franchises. So it's great to see initially Phil Spencer and Xbox are excited that they're going to be looking into these smaller IPs. I really hope that they change how it works within Activision. I hope that, sure, continue to make Call of Duty. I mean, Call of Duty is going to sell and make them a ton of money, but because now there's more resources, there's more personnel, they have more studios, and overall just a bigger corporation making these games, they're going to be able to branch off and make some more Activision IPs, bring back some of these smaller titles. That's one of the big things I think we're missing in today's video game world. Is we have the big AAA games, we have the indie games, but we don't have too many of those in-between games that generally are awesome, generally become cult classics and people love to play. Then he continues to talk here about Toys for Bob, and I think Toys for Bob is a really good studio. If you look at some of the stuff they have done, the newest Crash Bandicoot games, the remake of the first 3 games, the Spyro remakes, the Crash Team Racing, and the games all run and look really, really good. And I think Toys for Bob is going to be one of those hidden gem studios that maybe not a lot of people will think about, but it's going to be a great acquisition for Xbox. And Phil Spencer says here, we're hoping that we'll be able to work with them when the deal closes to make sure we have resources to work on franchises that I love from my childhood and that the teams really want to get. I'm looking forward to these conversations. I really think it's about adding resources and increasing capability. So again, good news to hear that he's thinking outside of just Call of Duty. Now, getting back to why I personally think Xbox made this acquisition is to position themselves in the future from emerging bigger companies trying to get into the video game sphere and have tons of money to be able to go out and purchase IPs. So Spencer talks about this, and he says he's concerned about tech companies unfamiliar with the gaming industry. We look at Google, we look at Apple, we look at Amazon, these companies that are just trying to get into it right now, especially with subscription-based gaming, subscription-based models, and they're going to have a ton of money to just go out there, buy a bunch of IPs, throw them into a subscription model, and they could hurt the game industry more so than I think Xbox can or will by buying more content for Xbox Game Pass. And he specifically refers to Nintendo and Sony within this quote. He says they have a long history in video games. Nintendo's not going to do anything that damages gaming in the long run because that's the business they're in. Sony is the same and I trust them. Valve's the same. When we look at the other big tech competitors from Microsoft, Google has search and Chrome, Amazon has shopping, Facebook has social, and all these large-scale consumer businesses. The discussion we've had internally where those things are important to those other tech companies for how many consumers they reach, gaming can be that for us. I think we do have a unique point of view, which is not about how everything has to run on a single device or platform. That's been the real turning point for us, looking at gaming as a consumer opportunity that could have similar impact on Microsoft that some of those other scale consumer businesses do for other big tech competitors. And it's been great to see the support we've had from the company and the board. I mean, there you go. He just explicitly says he trusts Sony, trusts Nintendo. He doesn't really fear them hurting the gaming industry. It's the other big companies that could be coming in. And I mean, that's how I see it at the end of the day. I know a lot of people want to go back and forth still with the console wars, PlayStation versus Xbox, but that's over. Like, that is completely done at this point. And whether PlayStation gets to keep a franchise like Call of Duty forever on their platform or not, Microsoft and Xbox are going to do what makes them the most money, what best positions them going forward. And if you're somebody who only has an Xbox, you really shouldn't care if PlayStation gets the game or not, because you're still going to get access to the game. The only people that should be worried right now thinking about this are the people that are going to refuse to sign up to Xbox Game Pass or refuse to get within the Xbox ecosystem for no other reason other than just being a fanboy of the other plastic box. But anyways, guys, that's it for me. Let me know what you think about all of this stuff. Again, more information on exclusivity. We're going to be so unclear about this until the deal is done. But what do you think about all of the comments and all the things that I mentioned in this video from Sony and from Phil Spencer? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here, you like what you saw throughout this video, I'd appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. Thank you guys all for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.